Hello, my name is Jackson Kilgore,
And I'm Jacob Kane.
and this is the NextUp Leaders podcast.
Today, our guest is a legend in our small town of Cordova, Alabama. He is the mayor, Jeremy Pate.
My name is Jackson Kilgore,
I'm Jacob Kane.
and this is the
NextUp
NextUp Leaders
Leaders
podcast.
So hey, Mr. Mayor, how you doing today?
Good evening. How y'all?
We're pretty good.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
So what's happened in Cordova today?
Not a lot today, but this week I just got back from a mayor summit in Montgomery. So me and 4 other mayors went to a summit, and kind of a design summit where you go meet a bunch of architects and people like that can kind of give you some ideas about what you can do with some things in your city, change some streets, and maybe redesign a few things to better suit the community.
Mm-hmm. So how's Mason acting at home?
Mason's a good kid, but he's a little weird, you know. No, he's a good kid. He's just a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old body.
Yeah.
So, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
what made you want to be like mayor in the first place? Like, what did you see and you thought, man, I could change that?
Well, I didn't never have a desire to be the mayor, you know, like to say, hey, I'm the mayor of this city. There was just an opportunity there to where I had the time to do it, and you know, it was, you know, I felt like that I could do a good job at it, and there were some things that I thought we could be successful at, and so I was like, you know, public service is one of those things where you got to commit yourself to it, and once you're committed, you're all in. You gotta finish it out. So, like I said, I had the opportunity because I was retired and had the time on my hands, and I was like, you know, I want to give back to the community and make this a better place to live.
Mm-hmm. So how do you figure out what Cordova needs most? And like, do people just give you ideas, or do you just kind of know what to do?
A little of both. You know, of course, you know, you look at the budget and you look at the bottom line, and you know that, hey, we can't continue to grow unless we increase revenues. And, you know, the only way you increase revenues is 2 ways. Either you get more businesses and increase sales tax, or you raise property tax, and people don't like when you raise property tax. So basically you go the other avenue where you try to increase businesses and sales tax revenue. And so you try to, and there's a lot to that, because you got to not necessarily just have businesses, but you got to create an atmosphere that business want to be in. So that's one of the things that we've had to do over the last 4 years, is try to create an atmosphere to where business wants to come here and they want to be here. And then on the other hand, we got to get people to support those businesses when they do come here. So, you know, that's why I spend a lot of time up here trying to talk to young people about reinvesting in the community. If we have a business here, it's very important that we support them.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, like, what was like the hardest part to you about being in charge?
Because we got about 30 employees, and so anytime you're dealing with people, it's difficult. So, you know, just handling the day-to-day operations of managing employees it don't matter where you are and whatever business you're in, that's what's going to be the most challenging.
Mm-hmm. Like, did you ever see yourself going into politics and stuff like that?
No, I'm still not a politician per se.
Yeah.
I'm just an ordinary guy that's doing a job that just happens to be political.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never had ambitions to be in the day-to-day. Like, the politics part's the part I hate the most.
Yeah.
Is that I love operating the city and growing us and doing those things, but having to go and deal with other people who are politicians is the hardest part about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back and give your high school self some advice, what would you give them?
Work harder. You know, make sure that, you know, I was one of those, probably like about 60% of every boy that goes to this school is that I did just enough to get by. You know, I was that high C guy, that middle B guy that was going to do just about enough that he had to keep my daddy off of me. Mm-hmm. So I wish I would have made straight A's, because I feel like I was capable. I just didn't put the effort in.
So what jobs did you have before this, and did any of them help you? Like, per se. Like, did any of them help you prepare for being mayor?
Well, all of them helped me prepare. The first job I had coming out of high school, I worked in a fab shop as a helper. Just basically just a fitter's helper, and I worked there for a year. Then I worked for a painting company about 4 or 5 months. And I painted some big water towers and different stuff like that. Helped paint them, and then I got a job with Trinity Industries, and we built railroad cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to go and start there, and I worked in several positions there. I started out on the assembly line building aluminum railroad cars, and then I went to welding school, learned how to weld, and then I went to ran the crane, and just a lot of opportunities there to learn. And then they shut down, and then that's when I went to work with Norfolk Southern Railway as a trainman. Mm-hmm. And so I worked as a trainman for about six or 8 years, and then I went to engineer school and became an engineer. And so, but yeah, just the fact that you got to have perseverance, you got to have hard work, dedication, all those things that you learn on the job helps you in any job.
Yeah.
So, Mayor, what do you like to do when you're not the mayor, like in your free time?
Oh, I'm a racer. I like to race. Anything racing, I like.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever just hang out in town?
Well, I'm in town about every day, so I hang out. And a lot of times I'll drive through early Saturday mornings when everybody's asleep. Is when I do a lot of driving around town to kind of look and see what's going on and what needs to be done for the next week. And so if you see me out 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, he's like, okay, he's trying to get lined up for next week.
So you just kind of scope out?
Yeah, just kind of seeing what needs to be done, what we've missed for the week, where we need to patch some roads, maybe where we need to pick up brush, different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, do you think you all have the city program, like the student work program again this year?
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Actually, we will definitely be having a summer work program this year, as we did last year. We're probably going to scale it down just a little bit. I think we had 25 last year. We're probably going to end up with about 16 this year. Finances isn't just the problem. It's 25 is hard to maintain and manage. So I think we can be more successful if we bring it down just a little bit and be able to manage it a little bit better with a little fewer people. And plus it makes it more attractive to these high school kids when you only got a certain amount of positions, so it's more attractive to them.
I know when I worked there, it was like a great experience.
Well, the reason why I started that program is because I had the opportunity when I was in high school to work for a program called CETA program, and it was state sponsored, it wasn't local sponsored, and it was the same type program y'all worked in. And so it allowed me to have some hometown feel about my community, buy in, and to be able to want to reinvest in my community, because I was actually just same as y'all were this year. The projects that we worked on, those projects will be there 10, 15, 20 years after you graduate, and every time you go by them, you'll be able to say, hey, we worked on that when I was a kid. When I was 15, we built that.
Yeah, I think of like every time like we pass by like that beauty shop or like the lights, I'm like, yeah, I stained that.
Yeah. And you'll do that even when you have kids. You'll drive them by there and say, hey, you see that? I stained that porch. It's still holding up.
Yeah. So would you say, like, if you weren't mayor, would you like to still work on the railroad, or do you think there'd be anything else that you like to do?
Well, I enjoyed working on the railroad. It was a good job. I didn't like the going out of town part, but as far as the job itself, it was a great job. I loved the people. It was a good place to work. It afforded me a good retirement. So I would encourage anybody that could get a job out there to get a job, because it's a great career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's something like you enjoy about being a mayor in Cordova?
Well, I just enjoy representing, the people of Cordova. I enjoy, when I go somewhere, I can represent these people and represent them well. And, I enjoy the fact that, we got a lot of opportunities and we can grow, and there's plenty of things that we can do and be. And so, I enjoy trying to get us there.
So what would you say is your favorite thing about the town?
Well, I think we got some good parks. I think we got some good, we got a good park and rec group. We just got some good people here. We got good people here. If you say what my favorite thing is about the town, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good people that work for me. There's a lot of good people that's involved in the park and rec. There's a lot of good people that, at Mission 34 that are contributing to the community. There's a lot of people at these schools that are fantastic folks. So I would say the people of Cordova are probably my favorite part.
It's like, as a politic, I know it's like, how do you get everyone to agree on something?
You don't.
Yeah.
No, you never get everybody to agree, but that's why it's majority rule. We take votes, and whoever's in the majority, that's who wins. But you always want people to buy into what you're trying to do, and so you have to try to figure out what's going to be best suited for the whole community, not just what Jeremy Pate wants. It's what's going to fit here and what's going to fit here long term.
So, what is one big thing you'd like to do before your term is over?
Well, one of the things we're focusing on this year is one big thing I'd like to do is get those apartments cleaned up across the river. Get those, get them people to take responsibility for their property and to clean them up and either rehab them and get somebody living there, or at least get them boarded up to where they're safe and people can't get in and out of it. One of the big things that we're focusing on this year is absentee property owners, which means people who own property in Cordova that's not taking care of it. We're going to be really coming down on those people. So, we're going to force them to clean their property up so that we don't have to see it every day when we drive by.
Yeah. It's like, where do you see the town in like 10 years?
10 years, I would say that we would be a city again. We will be, our population would increase at least by 500. We will have at least 50 new homes, hopefully 100, and or more. And we would have partially of downtown rebuilt.
Yeah.
So, how do you hope people remember your time as mayor when it's all done?
Hopefully that they can remember us, because this job don't pay a whole lot. You do it and you want to leave some kind of a legacy of what you're doing. And so, I want people to remember that I was there every day trying my best for the community, and that, we're going to get these roads paved before next year. And, those are the things, the infrastructure that we've done over the last 4 years was a foundation for what's coming. And so, if anything, I want to say that guy laid the foundation for this growth of Cordova.
So, what would you say your biggest complaint is? Probably the roads.
Yeah, people do complain about the roads a lot, but that was one of the first things that I went after when I came in office, was to go try to get funding for roads, and we got the funding. It's just we got to get it on the ground, and that's the hardest part. Is that a lot of people think that when you get a grant, they just put the money in your account and you just go spend it. Well, that's as far from the truth as you can ever come, because once you get the grant award, that's the easy part. Then you gotta jump through all the hoops that they wanted you to jump through to be able to actually get them to give you the money. So there's a mountain of paperwork and things that they want you to fill out, and studies and different things that you have to do to be able to get them to give you that money. So that's when the hard part starts, and so that's what we've been working through the last 3 years, is that hard part. But next month we're scheduled to put that road paving out for bid. So I'm hoping by May you can see some nice blacktop going down.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say, like, the craziest thing that ever happened while you were mayor?
Let's see. I don't know that anything really, really crazy has happened. We're pretty stable little small town, so there ain't nothing a whole lot of crazy going on around here.
if you could swap jobs with anyone in town for a day, what would it be?
I would probably Mr. Harrison. I'd like to be the principal one day.
Yeah.
If I got to swing the paddle. If they ain't gonna paddle, I ain't gonna be here. No, I wouldn't want to paddle nobody, but I would like to be. I love kids and being around young people. So being the principal would be pretty awesome.
Mhm.
If you could describe the town in 3 words, what would you describe it as?
To me, I see the town a little different than a lot of people who are from here. I think it's a beautiful community, loving, just an absolute great community. So I mean, great, loving, beautiful community.
Mhm. So, we have gotten to the end of our interview. So, we did this thing. Do you like cheese?
I eat cheese.
Yeah, we did this thing. We do the cheese quiz, it's called. And you got to name as many cheeses as you can in 30 seconds. Our last guest, Mr. Grant Nichols, he got, I believe, 8. So
Mason claimed you'll only get 2, so
we're gonna see. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
American, cheddar, Colby, pepper jack, Munster, pimento.
That's one. He didn't get that one.
Got me on the spot, and I can't think anymore.
All right, that's Tom.
Oh,
well, Mason said
Hey, you got 6. Hey,
Mason said you would only say hoop and mozzarella.
and see, I miss hoop cheese. I love hoop cheese, and I missed it.
I'm not
See,
gonna
I think Mason's gonna be impressed.
He might be.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what a hoop cheese is.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they
is
got it
it?
at the Piggly Wiggly.
What
down
is
there. It's
it?
got a red rind on it, and it's wonderful. If you ever get a chance, it ain't with the regular cheese. It's over in the meat department. You'll see it.
All righty. Well, that's our interview for today. Thank you for watching the Next Up Leaders podcast.
Thank you, Mayor Pate.
Thank y'all.